The biggest wilderness on Earth. Vast tracts of snow and ice. A perpetual winter wonderland. But despite the months of darkness and hostile weather, the Arctic draws wildlife. Some of the most cold-adapted, hardy, and even beautiful animals make a home of the polar world. The first lights to penetrate months of darkness. The magical, iridescent glow of charged particles dancing across our atmosphere. A hint of the wonder sun will bring to the frozen north. Beneath the ice, excitement stirs. In the heart of winter, this mother gave birth. For 3 months, she and her family have been locked underground. She hasn't been able to feed herself at all over the winter, and yet she still produces some of the world's richest milk around the clock to ensure her babies grow fast, ready for the challenges of one of the harshest yet most beautiful places on Earth. Slowly, the temperature climbs, bringing the first hint of sunlight. It's time to emerge. The Ice Kingdom was frozen to a standstill for months on end. But there is something in the air, a distant creaking. The cubs take their first look at the world. It's not very inviting. The temperature rarely gets above freezing. After the dark, warm comfort of the den, they are not sure they want to leave. Not all animals have the choice of a cozy den. Left over from the last great ice age, musk oxen take Arctic weather in their stride. With the warmest wool on the planet, a layer of fuzz known as kiviot under full-length guard hairs that repel the wind and rain. Even the calves can manage in -50. But slowly, subtle clues are emerging, a teasing suggestion that things are going to change. As the first patches of bare earth appear beneath their feet, the herd's first calves of the season are born. There might be a hint of spring in the air, but that doesn't mean the muskox are free from snowstorms. They can appear out of nowhere at any time of the year. The herd huddles closely to conserve body heat. Then it's back to shoveling to find scraps of food. They are not the only hardy breeders. Siberian cranes don't wait for the snow to melt before they get ready to start a family. The Arctic summer is short. The best bet of success here is get an early start. These long-lived birds pair for life, which can be a long marriage. They have been known to live for 80 years. The male will stand guard while the female incubates the eggs. Their vigil marks the start of a mass migration. Cold as it is, because the Arctic gets long hours of sun through the summer, Plants grow fast, and marine life proliferates. Many species that winter further south now arrive to make the most of rich pickings. Having wintered on the Gulf Coast, snow geese complete a 4,000-kilometer migration and immediately start nesting. The welcome party has arrived. At first, the birds don't seem too concerned. They are too busy finding their partners and defining their property boundaries. For now, the fox is more of a silent observer. Most of the Arctic isn't land, it's sea, and for half the year, that sea is frozen. On a cold year, it can be as vast as 12 million square kilometers, and in place, 20 meters thick. Before the spring sunshine has the chance to melt it, ringed seals dig out snow caves to have their pups. Though it's not long before the youngsters want to explore. Their thick white fur keeps them warm, but also perfectly camouflaged. Mum's darker coat is better suited to disappear in the murky waters below the ice. While she's producing rich cream for her pup, the mum needs to keep her fat content up and uses a breathing hole to dip under and fish. Though it's nice to haul out every once in a while and catch some rays. A good chance for the pup to enjoy another protein shake. The little one has just 1 month to bulk up before the milk runs dry. On firmer ground, more pups are making the most of their milking machine. Arctic foxes. Starting out in dens underground, they stay warm whilst waiting for summer to arrive. Soon the entire Arctic is ringing with the drip, drip, drip of spring. While the cold tries to hold on to the meltwater, it just can't turn the tide. Trickles become torrents. The released water carves its way through the landscape. In fact, northern horizons have been carved and sculpted by freezing water for eons. Great glaciers polish the land. On their front line, they calf, giving birth to icebergs. More water to join the ceaseless flow out to sea. Some of this hasn't been water for tens of thousands of years, locked in during the Ice Age, and only now allowed to run free. The ice floes offer a welcome retreat. Harp seals also pup in spring, and like the ringed seals, their maternal period is short. A quick sniff confirms this is mother. Mum kicks back, an open invitation for the little one to drink. More gregarious than their ringed cousins, the harps breed in colonies, and as soon as their pups have gained enough body fat, their mothers mate again and move on. Already the males are showing off, trying to win the attention of the mums. It will be a rude awakening to the pups, but they'll be able to live on their body fat until they are big enough to fend for themselves at sea. These are seals that hardly ever set foot on land, but with the sea ice opening up, there are tons of fish in easy reach. This is what the beluga have been waiting for. The snow white whales are Arctic specialists. Born without dorsal fins, unlike other whales and dolphins, they don't get scraped as they pass under ice. With built-in sonar and very flexible necks, they are expert at navigating around the ice floes. Ice sheets become ice floes. Some of the frozen monsters are bigger than city blocks, cast adrift to slowly wither and die. As they shrink, the life around them grows. Little fish can attract one very big one. The 6-meter monster, a Greenland shark, will eat anything from small fry to other sharks, or even the carcasses of whales. In the Arctic, you have to take whatever you can find. With prolonged sunlight hitting the water, plankton blooms. The rich algae feeds billions of shrimp-like krill. These tiny grazers, in turn, attract the biggest mouths in the Arctic. Humpback whales. Without the ice-navigating adaptations of the beluga, these 15-meter whales stick to the open bays and fjords, where they can consume a ton of krill and fish a day. They bulk feed, piling on the weight. They only have a brief summer to fatten up before they will head south to breed in warm tropical seas. During this time, they will hardly feed, so they need to gain fat now while the going's good. Another giant clings to what's left of the ice. A sunbed at sea is bliss for the walrus colony. But this is a hard time for the polar bear. Evolved for a life of hunting seals on ice, they soon find themselves without much room to maneuver. As the ice disappears beneath their feet, so too do their seal prey. While other animals feast, this can be a polar bear famine. Long-tailed ducks don't mind going with the flow, but sooner or later, the bears will need to swim. The exposed and rugged coastline doesn't look inviting, but it draws prospective homeowners from all over the Northern Hemisphere. Millions of seabirds arrive, all looking for a base where they can raise their young. All seek out ledges. It seems any spot will do, as long as it's big enough to hold an egg. Though there are scraps over the last free spots. There is a rush to breed. Summer's short, but the seas are rich. The birds want to complete their child rearing, while the fishing's good. After spending half a year at sea, The guillemots seem glad to see each other. In the chaos of the colony, it can be hard to get some rest. A few birds choose not to cram onto the ledges. They have a more unusual approach. Puffins. They arrive with beakfuls of sand eels to take back to their nests, which means going underground. Using old rabbit burrows or digging their own means the birds can leave their chicks in safety while they return to the sea to fish. Further inland, the ice is loosening its grip. The open, windswept hills, too barren for trees to grow, is known as the tundra. The meltwater breathes life into the hard ground, and mosses and herbs bloom. Muskox are getting frisky. Midsummer is the time of their rut. With hormones pumping through their veins, the males are getting moody and practice on each other, getting to know the strengths of other bulls in the herd. This period of testing means a ranking system can form. Lesser bulls learn to back down. Only the biggest males need to take things any further. It's the fight club that these big bulls are built for. Their horns come together in a natural crash helmet, a thick pad of horn that can act like a shock absorber. Gradually, the headbanging goes hardcore. The rest of the herd clears the arena, making the most of the open meadows. At full throttle, they reach 50 kilometers per hour, and the impact echoes out across the plains. For the most part, life in the herd is more peaceful. The giants must spend a lot of time eating, scraping the thin covering of mosses and lichens from the ground. The Arctic fox is back. It knows that by now the geese have eggs and young. Goslings are active from birth. They can walk, swim, and even feed themselves, but they are not very good at self-defense, and the cunning fox knows it. Not all of her eggs have hatched yet, so Mother Goose keeps them close. The warmest and safest place to be is under her. As the tundra's turned from snowy white to brown, so too has the coat of the fox. Good camouflage, but not enough to escape the attention of alert geese. Mum's on a mission. The geese aren't the only ones with young. Her litter's growing fast, and feeding them all is keeping her on her toes. The pup's nursery is littered with feathery leftovers. Not only good snacks, but fun toys too. While patrolling the goose colony, Mum has unexpected luck. A lemming. With her focus elsewhere, the geese take the chance to move. Now that all of the eggs have hatched, the little ones no longer need the nest. The family relocate, and Mum and Dad show the youngsters how to graze the tundra grass. They're close to open water, a good safe retreat should danger threaten. For another goose family, it's not quite as simple as walking to the local pond. Rather than nesting in the safety of a colony, these barnacle geese choose a high spot out of the reach of foxes. But the clutch have hatched. They can't stay here forever. The parents show the little ones the route. It's pretty straightforward. Bravely, the goslings follow their orders. Seemingly made of rubber, they arrive unscathed. One seems to regret its decision, but it's too late to turn back. Those that haven't jumped are away from their parents and are now in grave danger. Time to pick up the pace, one drop after another. Things finally level out. By midsummer, walrus no longer have the choice of an ice bed. They choose secluded beaches to haul out on the rocks. The sun never sets, so it can be hard to get to sleep. Tusks can make a wonderful headrest. One old bull takes a bath. The meter-long tusks are enlarged canine teeth. But this veteran's lost one of his ivories, perhaps in a fight with another male. Beneath the waves, the 2-ton giants become sleek and agile. Diving 80 meters down, they can hold their breath for half an hour and use their whiskers to feel out shellfish on the murky sea floor. Summer polar bears are high and dry, and generally not very happy. They have to be opportunists, sniffing out any feeding opportunity they can find. They are forced to give up what's left of the ice and try their luck on the coast. Some hold out as long as they can. The bergs can get a little crowded. Those already grounded wander endlessly, hoping to catch the scent of food. Rock pools are their best bet, but it takes patience. A stranded fish is a rare chance for fresh meat. For bears of all ages, it's a never-ending search for food. It can get boring waiting for winter and the seals to return. This youngster relieves his boredom with a leathery old piece of walrus skin. When polar bears are in the neighborhood, the walrus herd prefers to be out in deep water. For the bears, they remain tantalizingly out of reach. But it's not all plain sailing for the walrus either, and the occasional carcass will be sniffed out from kilometers away by the hungry bears. The blubbery body could keep him going for weeks, but only if he can keep it to himself. He eats as quickly as he can. Luckily, it's only the gulls that spot his feast. The bird colonies are rapidly expanding, with young chicks growing fast and filling the available ledges. It can get a bit messy, so the parents take time out for a shower. A cold snap hinders their progress. When ice is blown ashore, it creates a new challenge for young birds ready to leave home. When guillemots are ready to leave the nest, they make a jump for the sea. If ice stands between them, they can get stuck. The chick's father stands by it, trying to lead it to open water. A fox has spotted the mishap. But for both hunter and hunted, the moving flow is a challenge. The fox gets nothing but cold feet. Inland, the sun is shining, the perfect day to travel. And one group of animals do that en masse. Some caribou migrate 5,000 kilometers a year, the longest distance for any land mammal. Their constant march is an endless quest for the best feeding. They even breed on the move, and as summer nears its end, their rut begins. It's like an arm wrestle with antlers. The winner takes all, proving the females are impressed. The rut reaches its furious climax for the muskox too. Now only the biggest bulls remain in the final round. The victor rounds up his prize, a small group of cows and calves. With a bit of friendly persuasion, he'll mate with all of the mothers, siring the babies that will arrive next spring. Summer is nearly over. Most of the birds have left the cliffs and taken to the sea. A few sick or injured stragglers are left behind. But their misfortune is just what the young Arctic foxes need. They are getting ready to leave home. They'll need to get themselves through the long, tough winter months. A feast like this could make all the difference. A cold bite to the air means winter's coming. And it's not just animals that need to move on. A few communities are left whose lives are still totally dependent on reindeer. Though the deer have been domesticated, they still follow migrations accompanied by their owners. When snow settles on the ground, they clear out to move to their winter pastures. A migration of men. Hundreds will follow the path. For the Sami reindeer herders, the deer are everything, food and hides. So they take great care of their cold weather companions. No sooner have plants and animals fled, the winter begins to touch the tundra, gently at first, but gaining strength. As the temperatures plummet, even the sea itself grinds to a halt as sea ice is reborn. With their thick skirts of wool, the muskox are ready for the blizzards. Their kind has dealt with Arctic weather for tens of thousands of years. They must go back to using their broad hooves as snow shovels to eke out a living, but despite their tough conditions, still find time to feud. For the polar bears, the long wait is over. Gathering along the coast, they wrestle. Normally solitary, this is one of the few times they get together, and they almost seem to enjoy the company. They are born for the ice world. But most animals are not. Whales, birds, people, all flee before the ice. But remarkably, the little Arctic fox will stay. She faces 6 months of dark and temperatures of -50. But she and her partner will eke out a living. And now the Great Bear can return to its wanderings on the ice. Seals that have spent the summer at sea will haul out to breed, and the bear will be ready for them. Our northern realm is once again capped in white, its secrets locked away. There are only a few creatures hardy enough to stay there, in their world of ice.